From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the news at 10, live from Channels Television. Reported tonight,
Ijoma Oyato.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, President Goodluck Jonathan cautions politicians against inciting utterances ahead of the 2015 general elections. It's the third day of dispute in the Edo State House of Assembly as court bars 4 aggrieved lawmakers from the complex. Protest greets appointment of an administrative judge for Rivers State as group opposes decision of Nigerian Judicial Council. And Islamist insurgents attack the Iraqi city of Tikrit, hometown of former leader Saddam Hussein.
And on business news tonight, Nigeria loses bid to become Secretary General of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC.
And on sports news tonight, as the world eagerly awaits the start of the World Cup, FIFA resolves to invest $900 million in football development for the next tournament in 2018.
I'm Linda Kibe, and from Abuja, Chief of Defense Staff calls for all-round support for security agencies in the fight against terrorism. Says Boko Haram sympathizers are hindering counter-insurgency efforts. Guard your utterances. That seems to be the warning from the president to politicians as the nation prepares for the 2015 general elections. Dr. Goodluck Jonathan gave the strong warning today at the presidential villa as he swore in his new advisor on political matters, Professor Rufai Alkali. The president says he expects him to bring his experience to bear in the running of affairs at the presidency.
Starting from Professor Akali, of course, as the special advisor to the President on political matters, you are like the group managing director of Mr. President in political issues. You are not new. You took me round, you took us around the whole country during our 2011 campaigns. So you're already a well-known person. You have worked as a member of the National Working Committee of the party. Your appointment is key because you are the chief spokesperson of the president in political issues. And when one listens to some of the comments that we politicians make, sometimes could be terrible and does not really portray the character of a good politics. It's supposed to be nation builders. Even though it's extremely difficult to agree that a politician could be a statesman because you tend to be partisan, but at least in our utterances, we should give Nigerians hope that this country will be together, that we must unite, we must collectively force ahead to develop our country. You are a very mature person, and I believe that in your conduct, your utterances, your actions and inactions, you will portray a good character, the character of the politicians and Nigerians young people will use as role models. I congratulate you, and I know you will not disappoint, not just me, but you will not disappoint Nigerians.
Nigeria's President Dr. Goodluck Jonathan. Well, the crisis rocking the Rivers State judiciary is far from over. Indigents from 23 local government areas, their council chairmen and members of the National Assembly are now challenging the appointment of Justice Daisy Okocha as Administrative Chief Judge. They took their protest to the gates of the State Judiciary Complex, claiming that her appointment did not follow due process. The protesters say the move to make her chief judge is intended to destabilize the system. Justice Okocha was appointed by the National Judicial Council to replace the suspended chief judge, Justice Peter Agumago, whose suspension is still being contested in court.
It seems to be an era of protest. This time it's coming from Rivers State, where indigents from 23 local government areas are protesting the appointment of Justice Daisy Okocha as the Administrative Chief Judge of Rivers State by the National Judiciary Council, NJC. Outraged by the appointment, protesters led by Senator Magnus Abe claimed that the appointment was done through the back door.
The person nominated by the NJC has a brother who is a member of the NJC and is being supported by the powers that be in Abuja with intent to destabilize the government of Rivers State. They have insisted that they will appoint a judge. They will appoint a judge without the governor and without the Rivers State House of Assembly. And Rivers people want to stand there to say no.
The protesters are alleging that the appointment of Leonard Judge Daisy Okocha as the administrative judge of Rivers State, pending the resolution of all the legal issues surrounding the appointment of a substantive chief judge, is unconstitutional.
Why would they want to appoint a judge that is already having court processes and litigations on her? Why? What is their motive? We believe that their motive is evil. And we are concerned because the ordinary litigants of Rivers State are suffering as a result of what NJC is doing in Rivers State. Why have they picked Rivers State? They want to politicize the issue of appointing a chief judge. For what purpose?
In Rivers State, the tradition is that the State Judiciary Service Commission recommends a candidate to the National Judiciary Service Commission, who then forwards the name to the governor, who is at liberty to accept or decline the recommendation. In this case, the protesters allege the process was not followed. The NJC is yet to respond to the allegation.
In the meantime, the former Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice for Rivers State, Mr. Onweze Okocha, has dismissed as frivolous and baseless the allegation leveled against him concerning the lingering appointment of the Chief Judge of the state. Mr. Okocha told Channels Television in an interview today in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital, that it's not true that he used his position as a member of the National Judicial Council to influence the choice of Justice Daisy Okocha as the substantive Chief Judge of Rivers State.
NJC did not appoint Justice Daisy Okocha Administrative Chief Judge of Rivers State. Indeed, there is no such terminology. There is no such nomenclature in our constitution. As you know, I'm a member of the NJC. What the NJC decided at its last meeting was that they couldn't allow a vacuum to exist because cases were being filed and had been filed since the 19th of August when the former Chief Judge retired. These cases are languishing, lying in files in the office of the Director of the Courts. They are not being assigned. Then there are cases to be reassigned from Justice Uriri's court. Uriri retired in November last year, and Justice George Will's court. Early this year, Justice George Will was sworn in as a Justice of the Court of Appeal. And when the NJC received several representations from litigating members of the public and from some legal practitioners, they thought they should do what is normally done by giving written directives to the two most senior judges in the High Court of Rivers State and the customary Court of Appeal of Rivers State to assign cases and perform other administrative functions. There is no chief judge in Rivers State, and neither is there an acting chief judge. And this is a vacuum that has existed since the 19th of August 2013.
Well, to a different crisis, this time in Edo State, and 3 days into the dispute in the Edo State House of Assembly, the court today granted an order restraining the 4 aggrieved lawmakers from entering the Assembly complex. The Edo State High Court declared that the suspended lawmakers no longer have any right under law, having earlier been suspended to visit the complex. The order also restrained the Commissioner of Police and the Assistant Inspector General of Police and their agents from forcibly gaining entrance into the House, pending the determination of the motion on notice. Yesterday, the suspended lawmakers were joined by 4 other colleagues at an early morning sitting when they purportedly suspended the Speaker and 15 others. A cabaret. That's how the Chief of Staff to the Edo State Governor, Mr. Patrick Obayabo, has described the unfolding crisis in the State House of Assembly. Well, he told Channels Television in Benin City that the action of the 8 lawmakers who attempted to suspend the majority is against legislative procedure.
Cabaret show, a gladiatorial circus, having all the trappings of legislative infamy, to be deprecated by all compos mentis homo sapiens. For those of us who have lived all our lives in Parliament, it is a show of ignominy. It is a show of shame. And it is not something that should be condoned by all compos mentis homo sapiens in this time and age. Members of the State House of Assembly who thought that 4 of their members had conducted themselves in a way and manner that amounted to misconduct, proceeded to put them in suspension, on suspension. Valid proceedings in law, total compliance with the rules of the floor of the House. A day after, some 9 honorable members proceeded to the floor of the State House of Assembly in a post-haste and an arum-scarum modus that had all the trappings of an enter-blitzkriegism, purportedly sold the impression to the world that they have impeached Mr. Speaker and some principal officers. It is important to bring 2 fundamental points under focal biceps and biceps here. Which 2 points are, at the time these 9 members proceeded to engage, bestir, cocoon, maroon, and quagmire themselves in this opprobrious peregrination that had all the trappings of legislative infamy, political rascality, and if you like, even legal gambadoism. 4 of them had been validly suspended from the floor of the House, which meant they were complete strangers to the business on the floor of the House on that day. That vitiated their show of shenaniganism. What more? Which is even more fundamental. Let us even assume they had the numbers, which they did not have. Let us even assume that the presence of those 4 members that were already validly suspended, who had no business being seen within the sacred precincts of Parliament, did not even vitiate those proceedings. The legislative authority of the House, which confers sanctimony, which confers every integrity of the parliamentary legalis homo on the proceedings of Parliament, the mix was not there. So you can see why I said it was a cabaret show.
Chief of Staff to the Edo State Governor, Mr. Patrick Obayabo. Now in part 2, after the break, Osun State Governor woos voters ahead of the governorship election in the state. That's in a moment. To stay with us.